You are now tuned in to We Invest Different Podcast, where we have high-level conversations. I'm Mr. John Michael Best.
And I'm Victor Thomas II.
Let's tap in. This podcast is brought to you by Financial Fashion Company. I wanted to remind you guys to go check out our store. You can visit www.fnfstore.com, check out our positive apparel, and if you see something that you like, use discount code F and F10 to get 10% off your first order. Back to the show. Yo, what's going on, podcast family? It's the CEO, Mr. John Best, and I'm coming to talk to you about Anchor. If you haven't heard of Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. It's free and it has creation tools so you can record your podcast from your phone and your computer. Also, Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Music, and many more platforms. You can also make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Now, if you're interested, download the free Anchor app today or go to anchor.fm to get started. Now back to the show. We back. Tapping in for another episode, Conversation 11. Ain't that right, Vic? I believe it's Conversation 11. Yeah, it's Conversation 11. We got a lot of stuff going on, man. Lately. But, man, it's good to be back. How you doing, Vic?
Man, I'm good, man. Cup running over right now, man. Whole lot of stuff to do. Not enough hours in the day. Big blessings.
For real?
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. It's that season, man. How about you?
Same, man. It's been, with preparing for my son and everything, with the doctor's appointment, and still, running the business and making sure we, time managing everything. It just been, back to back. I ain't been relaxing at all, but I know we're going to have our time to take the load off. But right now, it's time to get that work in.
That's right.
But it's good, man. I feel good. So let's hop into the conversation. I had some things that was on my mind, and I was looking through the topics of our podcast ideas, and I ran across something that I felt like needed to be said. And I know we talk a lot about energy. I know we talk about a lot about the way that we move throughout life. Mm-hmm. And it posed a question. One of the statements that's very, it's very known, is used a lot in our culture, in our community, is that, we say protect our energy. We say protect your peace or protect your energy. But I got to thinking, I'm like, it sounds exhausting to do that. Because it sounds like work to protect something.
Okay.
But what I'm feeling is like, I feel like it's better for my peace to protect me, my energy to protect me. So the energy should be put towards you actually creating that peace, not protecting that peace. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because, I just thought it sounded kind of backwards. I just felt like if you got to protect your peace, then what value does your peace have?
Right. Is it really peace at that
That's
point?
What I'm saying.
If it can be so attacked like that.
Yeah.
Because the point of the peace is so you can withstand, right?
Yes.
Makes sense to me.
Yes. So it's kind of like, a lot of things, I know we talk about verbiage a lot. So I kind of wanted to just break that down and help myself understand that statement a lot more. Right. And I really realized that it was just another perspective and another way that I can say that. Because it's like we are still working on ourselves, and that's the only way we're going to improve. But if we so focused on something outside of ourselves, we can't really build that which we're talking about.
Come on, man.
So it's like, hey, if I want my peace to protect me, I have to have some type of peace to start with. So we got to change our focus. Our focus got to be more so on making sure we're at a certain type of place mentally and spiritually, so that the thing that we are working on can protect us. So the things that we are working on can repel negativity. Because, the adversary is going to come.
Right.
Trials and tribulations going to come.
I got a question for you, though.
What's up?
How would you describe peace? Like, what is peace to you?
That's a great question. And I know this can go a whole bunch of different type of ways, but I really feel calm. Like, peace is a very calming spirit, and I feel that when you're calm, you make the best decisions. I feel like you're sound when you're peaceful. I feel like there's a better way to receive things when you're at peace. Because you think about it, when there's a lot of pandemonium going on, there's no stability.
Right.
But when there's peace, you actually can move without any resistance. That's what I feel peace is. It's like it's a stillness. It's a stillness in energy where you're able to hear. It's very sound. Peace is very sound to me. I don't think it's one definition of peace. I think every individual will have his own definition of peace, but in my opinion, peace is always calm. Peace is always, it's loving. Like you making me tap into something. That was a good question. Because you really can't have peace without love. You really can't have peace without harmony. Like everything is connected to peace if you understand. Because okay, I think about a river, right?
A river.
Something is flowing.
Right.
And when something is doing what it's supposed to do, it's at peace. You see what I'm saying? When something is doing its job, it's at peace by default. But when something gets in the middle of something doing its job, that's when something happens.
Right.
So tap into that. I know it's something to think about.
For real.
It's something to think about.
My mind rolling too, and that makes sense because I just imagine myself, like when I get to moving in ways that's outside of what I'm supposed to be doing, I can notice that I'm not calm no more.
Yes.
You know what I mean? When things flowing and I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, I'm relaxed. I'm chill. I just want to point out, I love how you using these nature metaphors, man. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's intentional or that's just in you. But I remember last time you were talking about, you used a metaphor with a flower or something.
Now
you're
yeah.
talking about a river. So I just want to point it out those. I just wanted to point out those bars. You know what I mean? As a music person. But I did want to ask you something too. Because you did say that peace is sound.
Yes.
This might be my ignorance. And it is because I'm not really sure what sound means. So like, what do you mean by sound when you say peace is sound?
Well, sound. Okay, when you think about the word sound, what do you think about?
You know me, out the gate, music, hearing stuff.
Hearing.
Right.
See, that's one thing. Okay. Hearing is how you determine sound. Without hearing it, it's not a sound.
Okay.
So if you can't even hear it, it's not a sound. Right. So what I mean by peace being sound is like you're able to be communicated to. You're able to receive messages, basically what I'm saying. When you're at peace, you're able to receive messages, I feel like, from God.
Real talk.
Because peace is the spirit of God, for real. Like, when you in the spirit of peace, God is present.
That's the top 3 in the Holy Spirit.
That's what I'm saying. God is present when there is peace. So that's why I say it's sound. And the scripture talk a lot about sound doctrine. That's what
I never knew what that meant.
That just means it's able to be heard and it's in line. Sound doctrine meaning like it has an effect. You see what I'm saying? It has an effect. It's sound. When something is sound, it has an effect.
Right.
If it's not sound, no effect.
Right.
So that's what I mean by something being sound.
And that makes sense for me because it's like say if I'm getting into it with somebody, you feel me? If I'm kind of not relaxed and at peace, I might be hearing all kind of stuff that the person may not even be saying. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's kind of like the interpretation is flawed. And I'm not even really hearing what the person is saying because I'm not relaxed and at peace. Because my mind's still over here in this space that I don't even need to be moving in. Which could be frustration, you know what I mean? Anger. Or even sadness, if you will, you know what I mean? So that really resonates with me because I know when I'm at peace, I can hear clearer, even with people, but especially with God. And that's why a lot of times when I meditate, when I first start, it just be a bunch of stuff, chaos. You know what I mean? But then once I finally get to that place of when I calm down,
Yeah.
then I start getting them messages from
That's
God. For real, for real. I'm talking about it be so crazy, bro. Like, it be like God be like talking right in my ear. But see, I never get there unless I'm at peace in that moment. And that's when I can really hear.
How do we get there? Because I know we're talking about, you know, that peace and how that peace protects us and what peace is and what sound is and things of that nature. But I do hear our listeners saying, you know, like, how do you be more peaceful? Like, I know I got certain things in my life that causes me to be more aggressive and things like that. And I know you talked about meditation. So
Right.
I kind of want to go there. Because I was talking to Manuel a couple days ago, and I was telling him about this mental health shower that I do. And he was like, because he said something about being aggressive and being angry. And I was like, you know what, bro? Try this little simple thing out. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of things that we can do that we neglect in our everyday lives. Like, because I remember once when we was talking about mental health, a lot of the times we want to jump to a doctor or jump to therapy when it's literally small things that we can do in our everyday lives that will make ourselves better. Mm-hmm. So I was like, bro, one thing that you can try, and it's very peaceful, and I love to do it. When you get ready to take a shower, get you a little LED light. Get you an LED light or a night light and cut the lights off. You know, I shower in the dark and only my little light be on. And I sometimes, most of the time, I do white noise, or I do a sound bath, or I do just some meditation music in the background while I shower. And I really enjoy my shower. I'm very present during the time that I take my shower. Mm-hmm. You know, and I feel that, I know water has a connection with mental health, but that's a whole nother conversation. I don't want to get too far into that.
Right.
But my whole point was that meditation is one way, you know, to be at a more peaceful state.
Right.
Because it's a practice.
Oh, yeah, got to stick to it, or it becomes less effective. For real. Because I noticed, like, when I stop, like, you know, when I stop meditating for a while, and then I jump back into it, it take a little longer for me to get to that calm place. You know what I mean? But when I do it every day, it's like, okay, I can get there faster. And then when I do it multiple times a day, it's like I can close my eyes and I'm there. But I also do what you said, the shower.
Oh, yeah?
Man, I've been doing that for a good while, bro.
It's beautiful, man.
I mean, I'm talking about, I'm hopping in the shower even if I ain't dirty. I might have, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, say if I, like, you know, I had a day, I came home, jumped in the shower, and just took a bath, you know what I mean? I might just jump back in the shower if I didn't cut the light off and have my candle lit, you know what I mean? Because I need that. Like, for example, today, my lady was taking a shower before me, and I said, don't use up all the hot water, because that's a part of my meditation. You know what I mean? Like, it's that serious. I got to have it. So, man, I just love being able to do that, but also, you know, just sitting down still, doing nothing at all. That's very impactful too, and life changing. And I know it's hard for people to really grasp hold of that type of meditation where you just still, because initially it can be real uncomfortable. Yeah. Because them thoughts gonna come, and if you really doing it right, them tears gonna come, man, for real. Like, once you get into that space and, you know, that stuff that bothers you that we try to put in the back of our minds is going to come up. And I know that causes a lot of people to be like, fuck this, I ain't doing this no more. I ain't trying to think about that. But, you know what I mean, for anybody that's thinking about trying it and has tried it and gave up, just know that those thoughts and those feelings coming up are a good thing. That's the growth. Because a lot of times things only become problems in our lives because they're unaddressed. But if we just address them and acknowledge it as a problem and it creates a pain within us, then we can start the release process. You dig what I'm saying?
Right. And that takes me into this next part of the conversation, because I hear something developing within the conversation that makes me want to talk about personal goals. Mm-hmm. Because you got to know what type of person you want to be. Because, like, I have a goal to be more peaceful.
That's right.
So like if you are the type of person that want to be more peaceful, there are some things that you can do to be more peaceful. But the first thing is you have to actually want to be more peaceful. That desire to be more peaceful will cause you to start doing things that will be more peaceful. Like certain things that you know will make you chaotic, you start avoiding it. You start rejecting it. You start sacrificing it. Right. And those are the things that you have to do in order to get to that place of peace. Now, that's what I mean when it say peace is supposed to protect you. Because when you're working on that part of yourself, you're changing. You're growing. You're maturing. Because you're starting to see the part of you that you want to be better at.
Right.
So in the midst of that, that's how that peace is starting to protect you, because in those moments, you start worrying about those things that's bringing you back, that's taking you back. You start worrying about the negativity because you're so focused on moving forward. You're so focused on your growth. You're so focused on the person that you're becoming that you're so caught up in that peace to where you automatically repelling people that interrupt that peace.
Yes, sir. And it's a spiritual thing.
It is.
Like sometimes it don't even have to be intentional. It's just going to happen. You know, you start losing friends. You know, you might lose some stuff that you really holding on to, and it just start vanishing. You know what I mean? And one thing I also wanted to tap on too, and what you saying is that, with that peace and us holding on to it as our protection against stuff, I made the mistake of neglecting doing certain things because I knew it would kind of make me less peaceful. But what I learned is that I can't repel all situations because in those situations, my peace is strengthened.
Yes.
You dig what I'm saying? So it's important
That's
to be
powerful.
in a spiritual space to be able to discern if that's happening or not.
Yeah.
And I really can't tell nobody how to do that because that spiritual discernment is different for everybody. You know, what's for you, is for you. What's not for you is not for you.
Exactly. And that's that's just the reality of it. That's the reality of it. You have to actually, it got to be for you. You got to want it.
Yeah.
And that's really what we're saying, because peace don't come unto people who enjoy pandemonium. But see, that's what I'm saying. Like, there has to be a goal connected to, you know, your peace. It has to be something connected to that. You have to have a certain value connected to peace. You have to value peace.
Right.
So that peace will be able to protect you, because I put it like this. When you take something for granted, you can't see the value of it. So it's like, but how can you see the value of something that you never got the benefits of? So like, for instance, if you never had peace, how do you know what you're missing?
That's a good question.
You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you know what you're missing?
That's
so it's
crazy.
like, for those people who's been in pandemonium for most of their lives, and it's people that's really like that. Right. It's people that's really just been like, it's been so much going on throughout their lives and they never got a chance to actually have peace or enjoy peace. Now, but sometimes God allow something to come into your life to give you a glimpse of that peace.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? I believe that. I believe that it's a chance for everybody to latch on to that, but everybody won't. I'm sorry, that's just the way it is, but everybody won't. But for those person that's latching on to that peace or that sign that God... Did you know stress is one of the leading causes of chronic physical and mental health issues? This is why we started this movement, MH10, Mental Health 10 Minutes. And we want to inspire everybody to take at least 10 minutes a day for a walk, jog, or run. Or even if it's just a stroll in the sunlight to get some fresh air. The goal is just for you to focus on yourself for those 10 minutes. And what this does, it lowers the chances of you experiencing anxiety and depression, because we all know that stress leads to those things. So get outside today and take your 10 minutes. And if you want to post on social media, use hashtag MH10 or mental health 10 minutes. Now back to the show. God has sent you. Like, it takes a continuation. You know, once you first tap in and just making that declaration that you want to have more peace, that's powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you never was that type of person to even think about being peaceful, you know, being a peaceful person, calming down situations, being, having better conflict resolution. Like these things all has to do with your inner peace. All of this has to do with your inner peace, because what I learned about conflict resolution was that it's a reflection of who you are. I learned that my conflict resolution was a reflection of who I am internally.
What you mean by that, though?
Okay, like if it's a situation about to happen that I can avoid, that's about to go left, like how I decide to handle this situation determines how I think.
Word.
How I choose to handle that situation is really telling whoever watching is telling them how I think. And how, like, you are what you think. So, like, if the thoughts that you answer to the most is who you are. Like, we all have negative and positive thoughts, but you have a decision on whether to move on the negative ones or the positive ones.
And you know what that make me think?
What's up?
It's not protect your peace, it's keep your peace.
Whoa.
That's it.
Whoa.
Because when that situation come, you can decide to go with the chaos,
yes,
or you can decide to keep your peace.
That needed to be said.
Yeah.
You just brought it home.
Yeah.
You just brought it home.
It just came to me. That wasn't number God, man, because I had never looked at it like that.
Keep your peace, man.
Keep your peace.
And see.
And the peace will protect you.
That's it. Because God is that peace. Mm-hmm. So once you trust in that peace, he will fight the battle. So it's like, I think that's connection there as well. Like that all come in with each other, because it's like a lot of times we do try to handle situations with our first response. And we are human. We all have responses to where it's like most of the time it's emotional.
Right.
But with practice, you get to the place where you don't react as much. You start actually thinking about, your decisions that you're going to make. And that's growth. Yeah. That's what we're talking about.
And it's uncomfortable.
It is.
I mean, when that situation comes and you love peace so much and you feel it getting tested, woo-wee, it's like, not only is that situation aggravating you, but now you're getting aggravated because your peace is getting forced to grow. You dig what I'm saying? And that thing could take some serious self-control. Just really being able to sit down and be like, okay, this is going on. I'm not going to react in a bad way, but I'm going to try to I'm going to fight for this peace, to keep it. You know what I mean? That can be such a task, man. And that's from experience.
Okay, last part of this conversation before we move on to our next segment, bro. But I couldn't help but think about, how... Dang, I always do this, man. Hold on. I'm thinking about that train of thought. Yeah, I know. But I was just thinking, I be wanting to just say it. I really just be wanting to just say it when I be saying it, but I be wanting it to make sense. And on my way to bringing up my point, I forget it. But yeah, that made me think about it. We can just go ahead, bro.
Okay. Cause
I literally, it just slipped my mind, bro. I don't know how that slipped my mind.
Just keeping that peace in the midst of the peace having to grow. Because it's not like we just get peace and then we there.
Right.
It's just like any other muscle we gotta work. You know what I mean? It's a muscle.
Oh, there we go. It came back.
I knew it would.
Now, ego. Now, I was thinking about this. Now, ego. Mm-hmm. Now, ego, man. Ego has a lot to do with you holding your peace and you keeping your peace. Because I definitely deal with that firsthand. Because
man,
it's like,
man, what?
Because you can have the mindset, you know what I'm saying? You can have the mindset of saying, I want to be peaceful or whatever. And like you were saying in that moment, a lot of times we don't want to take down. We don't want to take down to keep that peace. Sometimes our ego want to.
Hold on, what you mean by take down?
Like, okay, you have the opportunity for the situation to stay at bay. Mm-hmm. So you got a chance to keep it at bay or let it rise out of control.
Oh yeah, true that.
So sometimes like your ego would make you feel as if you don't take it out of control, you're less than who you are. Sometimes you feel like you're less than who you are if you're more peaceful.
Right.
But really, like, peace shows strength.
Yeah, for real.
Like that, I think we talked about that a few podcasts ago. I think we mentioned it once or twice But that's real talk. Like sometimes when you can hold yourself and keep yourself from doing something, it can look weak. Yeah. But in reality, it's really strength. It's really.
You know what that made me think about though?
What's up?
You know how people say, like, say if you're in a relationship, and people say, if you allow somebody to do this to you, you just showing them how to treat you.
That's true.
But it's like, it's a conflict when it comes to what you were just saying. Because that ego gonna kick in and it's like, oh, I don't want to be treated this way.
That's it.
But I gotta sit back and take it. You know what I mean? It's like a conflict. And man, that could be so hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So hard to really remember that. But like you said, it shows strength. And I think that's when we really have to recognize who do we have the peace for, which is self.
And that's a balance. It's a balance as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you get to talking about a relationship, that means you bringing somebody else in to your journey with you. So I know we're talking about like an individual journey as far as like your inner peace, your personal inner peace. But when you're talking about, a relationship, I feel like since it's a two-way street, you have to consider the other person. So it's like, okay, you can get to a certain place where it's no longer serving your peace. Okay, like if you in a relationship and you're being peaceful when this situation happened, but the situation keep happening and it's not showing no signs of growth, then at that point, it can become a weakness for you.
Yeah, because you're not exiting.
It's not a peace anymore. It's a nuisance. Like
Right.
it's not peace anymore. It's not peaceful anymore for you because you see that what you're doing is not serving its purpose. And at that point, your peace is going to be bothered.
Yeah.
So you have to make the decision then to listen to your peace. You got to listen to that. Like either you going to deal with it or your peace going to be bothered.
Real tough.
So you got to make that decision.
And that take discernment.
It really is.
And that just and you saying that just reminds me of the importance of being in tune with God. I know people want to call it higher power, whatever you call it, the universe, whatever. I call it God.
Yeah,
you know
God,
what I mean?
yeah.
You got to be in tune with God and and hear His voice in that peace to guide us through those situations, because it can be hard to gauge, in a relationship when too much is too much, especially when your heart is involved.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we really can't protect ourselves. So we got to really look to God and be like, hey, God, I'm trying. You see me trying. When is it going to change? Is it not going to change? Move this situation for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's another thing that peace gives us. It allows us to release control.
That's it.
You dig what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And allow things to flow the way they should.
That's it, bro.
Yeah, man.
That's it. And you just really brought it home because that's what we were saying in the beginning. Mm-hmm. Really a sign of peace is like you being able to allow things. You've been able to allow things to flow. Because like if you stop things from flowing, it's not peace no more. Like it's an interruption there. Like, so obviously it's gonna be some problems coming. But anyway, man, moving on. Excuse me. We're moving on in the segment that we always do, man. And this segment is called, What You Learn. And we do this every week because we want our audience to always learn something. And we want to always push ourselves to learn something. So is there anything, Vic, that you would like to tell the people that you learned recently that they can grow from?
One thing that I wouldn't say I learned, but it was like a refresher. Slow down. I don't have to go at the speed that the opportunities are going. If that make any sense.
I understand.
Like think this gonna come, this gonna come, this gonna come. And sometimes I can find myself falling into trying to keep up with that. But it's like, slow down. Check your calendar a couple more times before you bring this other thing. Really sit down and take time and really think about what's coming up. And can I handle it? And not just try to be like, oh, it's coming, I can do it. Because, the scriptures say, when you start getting blessed, man, your cup runneth over.
Right.
The cup can't hold it all. So every opportunity that comes, we can't necessarily take it on. So that's why I say it's good to slow down and really look within and, look to God and say, can I handle all this? And I think that discernment comes from me actually slowing down, looking at my plate from where it's at right now, seeing what I want in the future, and then making my decisions based on that. But that comes from me slowing down. They're not trying to move at the rate of the opportunities.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
That was a mouthful. And
Yes, sir.
I learned something. I learned something from that. I learned something from that because opportunities can, start to control you if they start coming too fast.
Yeah.
That's kind of a pointer for people that want fast success. Because fast success comes with, fast responsibility.
Essentially.
So, it's not just success and success alone. Success comes with the work to maintain the success. I know that we want to get to a certain place, but we got to always remember, when that success comes, you got to still maintain that same work ethic and even a better work ethic so you can have longevity.
Right. It's a press.
For real.
It's a press. It's going to be some growth. But, don't press too hard. Press hard, but don't press because you can press to the point where everything just go to shit.
Mm-hmm.
You dig what I'm saying? Now you can't handle nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel overwhelmed. And, I think I heard you mention something that I deal with, too, of when it be so much, it's kind of like, I ain't going to do none of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's too much. I ain't going to do nothing. I'm just sitting here. It's like it freezes you.
Mm-hmm.
So,
One thing at a time. Let's do one thing at a time. Work on one vision at a time.
That's it.
But one thing, man, I've been internalizing and learning is how to roll with the punches. That's really what I've been learning. Like how to roll with the punches, like when stuff arises, don't panic.
Right.
Don't panic. And look for an opportunity where God is in the situation. Like over the last weekend, we went through an issue of we went to Hyundai before we went out of town for the baby shower and got the headlight and the backlights replaced.
Okay.
And I went to go put some water. I went to go put some fluid inside of the windshield wiper, holder or whatever, and the hood wouldn't pop. So we took it back to Hyundai, and we was trying to see whether or not they was gonna take responsibility because they were the last ones to open the hood. The hood had not been open since they went to change the light. So we took it back, and the lady tried to tell us that we had to pay $170 for them just to check it to see what was wrong with it.
I'm called folk, but I swear.
So usually, man, I would have got out of character, and me and my girl would have got out of character, and we would have, the situation would have been worse than it was. Mm-hmm. But thank God that through us knowing that it's best to keep it calm in those situations, she kept it calm, and I kept it calm. Because it was instances in that situation where I wanted to get out of character. But I learned that when we stayed in character, right, when we continue to be the highest form of ourselves, and when we continue to be on a higher vibration and not allow ourselves to make a fool of ourselves, things got handled. Now, I know it was a long wait because that's a slow location. We did wait a while for our car to get done. But the whole point is that we were able to get that problem handled without any hiccups because we kept our cool.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? We went through, we escalated the situation, don't get me wrong. Like we called the folks and we had to go through a couple of people before we got it done, but that's normal.
Right.
And I just took that as a learning lesson. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Amen.
look for opportunities to where you can show God's spirit. Because I found myself asking him to help me do that every day. And then he'll give me an opportunity to show his spirit, and then you fail the test.
Whew.
So I just be like, that was an opportunity for us to show God's spirit and keep the peace.
Yes. I love that, man.
So that was the pointer of, roll with the punches and always look for opportunities to find God in every situation and to show God in every situation.
Yes, because the opportunity is always there.
Always.
All day.
Every
Something. Day. It's a way. I love that, cuz, for real.
For sure, bro. And before we get out of here, y'all already know we introduced a new segment last week of a financial theme of the month. And, the financial theme of the month is still give a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? Like I said last week, if you're somebody that's already giving, make another sacrifice. Because you can't beat God giving. And God is a cheerful giver. So whenever you're able to give, you're always gonna have to give. So look for opportunities to give something, give to somebody, give to a charity, give to a homeless person, give to anybody that you see that's in need and your heart is speaking to it.
Right.
Be sincere. Don't just do it just for the sake of saying, I just did something. Actually be honest and be sincere from your heart. And I feel like I know that there will be a change in your life as far as positivity goes. So with that being said, is there anything left you got to say, Vic?
Oh, man, it was a great episode. Good stuff.
For sure, man. I enjoyed it. And I thank everybody for tapping in, for listening to We Invest Different Podcast. I'm co-host Mr. John Michael Best.
I'm the other co-host, Victor Thomas II.
And we gone.
Peace.